Cartagena is one of the most unique and special cities that I have visited, and in this video, my goal is to show you what a regular tourist can expect when visiting Cartagena. And my hope is that you'll see both the positives and the negatives of Cartagena, but the pros will far outweigh the cons of visiting this city. Let's explore this place together. The first thing you'll notice about Cartagena when you leave the airport is the contrast between the old colonial Spanish architecture and its new marble buildings. Also, the Caribbean Sea shines on the side of the highway. You'll also notice the wall that surrounds Cartagena, which is literally impossible to miss, and we'll talk more about that later. And a lot of people describe Cartagena as Miami, and I will say both of them are very similar in a lot of aspects.
So right now it's about 7:45 in the morning, so the streets are actually pretty empty, as you can see, with that beautiful architecture. However, right now my goal is to find a coffee place, get some food. So we're gonna try to find a really good restaurant. I heard some good things about this place that we're going to. So we got cappuccino. What's this called again?
Corozo.
Corozo, right? So jugo de corozo, corozo juice. It's like, honestly, the way I could explain this best is like it's kind of like cranberry, but a lot sweeter. But I don't know how to explain it. It's something like cranberry, but it's not exactly. Yeah, it's like more profound. It's a profound cranberry juice. And this right here is the ambiance of the restaurant. This is called ipoca. So the dish I got is called calentado. This is like a staple in coastal Colombian food. So we got some rice, beans, corn. We have chicharron meat. Then we have egg. We have avocado. We have like a mix of onions, tomatoes, and some spices and peppers and whatnot. And I know some people are gonna be like, dude, why is this a breakfast food? But it's great. This is amazing, I'm telling you. And then over here we got an arepa con huevo. So an arepa, which is like a bread staple in the Colombian gastronomy, with an egg on the inside of that. It's a delicacy.
So the number one question on everybody's mind is probably, is Colombia safe? And as a whole, to be completely honest, I would probably say no. However, Cartagena, in my eyes, is probably the safest city for tourists. I've seen people walk as late at night as 11 p.m. and they walk on the streets without anything happening, without any fear. In other places like Bogota, Medellin, Barranquilla, you have to have a lot more caution. But in my eyes, Cartagena is probably the safest place for tourists, and that is one thing that I really do enjoy about Cartagena. So if you're considering coming to Colombia, the first place that you should go is Cartagena.
Gracias.
Walking tour.
Gracias. So here we go. This is the part of Cartagena that I'm not a fan of. You have a lot of people coming up to you, and I know they're trying to make money, right? They gotta pay their bills like all of us do, but it's a little annoying when every like 3 seconds you have somebody saying, hey, my friend, you know? But it's all good. Gracias, señor, gracias. Case in point. Let's go explore.
We went to the park on the other side of the street called Centenario Park. It opened in 1911 to celebrate 100 years of Colombian independence. In the park, you can buy some items in the marketplace, see some iguanas and even some monkeys, and admire the historic monuments.
So one thing I want to show you that you'll see all the time in Colombia is to the left of the video right now. You can see that dude wheeling around a cart full of bottles, right? So those are coffee bottles. So a lot of people will walk around throughout the day, offer coffee to people for some pay. This is something that you see very, very commonly in Colombia. But in the US, you will never see that, ever. And we got some fruit over here. Ooh, that's some beautiful fruit. ¿Quieres comprar algo? Allá? All right. We might go back there, but we're gonna go somewhere else right now because supposedly there's a cart that's even better that has more fruit. So I'm on the lookout for one specific fruit. It's like this long fruit that has these like seeds inside, right? And you put them in your mouth, you eat the fruit around the seed, and it's so good. It's called guama. We're gonna see if we can find that. We couldn't find a guama yesterday, okay? But thankfully, my wife's parents, my wife's from Colombia, they brought this guama here. I'm trying not to get eaten alive by mosquitoes and all these other bugs, but look, this right here is the guama that we were looking for, okay? So the way that you eat this, yeah, I know this looks like a stick or something. I'm just gonna move a little bit because there's so many bugs. But what you do is you twist it like this, you break it open, right? And then you open it up, and this is what you got inside. You have like these flesh-like things. So then what you do with this is you twist one out of this, right? And then you put it in your mouth like this. And you eat what's around the seed. So I'm gonna do that. You spit out the seed. Can't throw it there. And then just put it away, right? That's how you eat a guama.
The next place we went to is literally impossible to miss. It is the wall that surrounds the city of Cartagena.
The point of this wall, this wasn't just for decoration, okay? So one thing to notice is that this wall was built for structure. It was built to protect the city of a bunch of pirates that were coming in here. Actually, in Cartagena, in this city, they have a museum about pirates. So they have a long history of people coming in here, raiding the city, and they built this wall specifically for protection of the city. So you can see that the wall goes quite long, right? Donald Trump would be proud of this wall. So with that being said, we're gonna keep walking and exploring the history a little bit more of this wall. I'm not too sure how long it took to complete, but I believe it took somewhere between like 50 and 200 years to fully complete.
Con la bandera. Y este para llevar a la suegra, a la mami. Son unos imanes para pegar en la
bueno,
bandera.
entonces me interesa.
Sí, este tiene las cárceles. ¿Hablas español?
Sí, claro.
Sí, él es
Ok,
profesor de
bien.
español, imagínate.
Ah,
Sí.
no, iba a decir tu profesora de español.
Sí, ella me ha ayudado, es cierto.
Iglesia San Pedro.
¿Cómo vende el paquetico?
Los tres para los españoles que han robado mucho, $50. A ustedes 25 pesos de Colombia.
20.
Robado, yo te regalo una pulsera, ¿viste?
Bien.
Está bien, bueno. Llevamos esto. Bueno,
En Cartagena mujeres mandan.
Sí, es la verdad, sí. He notado después de 3 años de matrimonio.
Qué bonito, hacen bonita pareja, ¿eh?
gracias.
Sí, gracias. Está bien.
Ya.
Muchas gracias, señor. Que le vaya muy bien. So see, that's a whole example of an interaction, and thankfully that interaction didn't go too well. I mean, a little bit expensive if I'm honest, but I mean, it's a pretty fair price. It's funny because he made a joke in there where he said $50 for all that for the Spanish that came here and robbed their property, right? Back in the 15 and 16 and 1700s and so forth and so on. But he was like, but for you guys, I like you guys, so 25,000 pesos. That's like around $6-7 USD. So anyways, not a bad interaction, but I mean, you got to be careful, especially when you're alone interacting with these people, because again, he was a nice guy. I got a good vibe from him, but some of these vendors are like, they'll gaslight you into buying stuff, and you have to almost develop like a thick skin and be a little bit rude and say like, nah, I don't want that, man, just leave me alone, you know? Which again, sounds super rude, but it's like, that's just what you have to do here to make sure that you're not being scammed.
All around Cartagena, you'll see emerald shops. This is because Colombia is the country with the most emeralds in the world. You can buy some beautiful gems here in Cartagena at a discount price. So we were on our way to another part of the city of Cartagena called Getsemani. Getsemani is the trendy hipster part of the city where you can find art on the walls, some cafes and bars. This is where you can go to experience the creative side of Cartagena. Many restaurants have live music, and historically, this is the part where many free Africans lived in the age of slavery, and their rich culture is still reflected here to this day.
El
champion, el champion, el champion. Hey, my friend, listen to me. One moment, please. You are the boss and she is the queen. Tírame la plana, todo lo hacemos original. Te luce la barba como ya. Hey, blessed, 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 Boston. Blessed, 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 Boston.
Hey, welcome to my boy, Alvarez de la Remove. You have the ball porque le meto bien cool. Infinity Law, Infinity Law. Infinity Law, Infinity Law.
Hey, mira, tú eres de Boston con la cordobeña. Tírame la plana, el rapero te diseña. Mira la patrona, mira la costeña. Parece el modelo de la Carolina.
Mira, amor, claro que sí, fue la pena. Bienvenida a Cartagena, tu playa también, Marina, pero que apoyen la música buena, dímelo, bro.
So, what you guys just witnessed was the rappers of Cartagena, okay? So what I was saying before, I had to cut because unfortunately there was a lot of loud noises going on. What happens is these people will just come up into your face, like I said, right? And then it's not a free performance. They expect you to give at least like $2 to $5 US dollars to each one of them, right? And I mean, again, it might not sound like a big deal. It really might not sound like that big of a deal at all. But it's more so like you're giving out money when you didn't really expect it. Like I was just walking around the corner and then they appeared, and we've been trying to avoid them all day because I'm kind of used to this at this point. But then they were right there. So I gave them 10,000 each, which is about $2.50 USD or $2.50 USD. And again, it's just a little bit of an uncomfortable feeling because if you say, no, I'm not giving you money, like, you know, because you would think like you're not asking for this performance, right? This is just something they're doing. You would think it would be okay, right? And they would be maybe a little bit upset, but they would accept it. But sometimes they just look at you all angry, and you know, I've heard that sometimes they even threaten, you know, foreigners. So it's a little unnerving. So I just gave them 10,000 each. But yeah, if you come here to the beautiful Cartagena, just beware. If you hear music and you hear somebody rapping around a corner, go the other way and just turn back in about 5 minutes, and you'll save yourself, you know, maybe $5 to $10 depending on where you're at.
In Centenario Park, the item that you'll see most is handmade bags, and I was curious how long it takes to make one of these bags.
¿Cuánto tiempo dura el proceso de crear eso?
Depende. Si son niños, demoran 1 o 2 semanas. Si ya son adultos, demoran
Wow.
1 semana. Que ya tienen más experiencia, sí.
I really like this shop right here. This is beautiful. So the thing that I'm buying right now is this right here. Actually, that serves as a pencil holder, and it shows the traditional party bus of Colombia that they have here on the coast, especially. What's this thing called again?
Chiva.
It's called the Chiva. By the way, that right there, that bus that you see, that's red, blue, and yellow, that is one of those party buses called Chiva that we saw earlier in the form of a pencil holder. So now you get the whole story. Those things are awesome, man. Those are a good time from what I've heard. They look a lot more lively and a lot more fun at night than in the day because they got lights and all that. But yeah, it's a cool time. If you come here, definitely, you know, if you're into that kind of stuff, definitely get on one and have a good time. I'm sure some of you guys probably know who that is, unfortunately, but try not to promote that here in Colombia.
Today's a new day in Cartagena, and our mission today is to go up to the highest point of Cartagena called El Cerro de la Popa, and up there you can oversee the entire city from the top. It has a Catholic convent, which today serves as a museum for tourists, and the path to the top is absolutely terrifying, not gonna lie. As you're gonna see in a few minutes, there are many twists and turns, and all the crosses that you see on the side of the road are people who unfortunately passed away on this path. that right up here was absolutely terrifying, to be honest. You know, there was like crosses everywhere on the side of the street for, you know, people that died on that path at some point. So very intimidating to say the least, but here we are, and this is the view that we have right here. It's incredible. It's incredible. This is one of the first convents that they had in Colombia, and it's on top of this little mountain here. Oof. Super beautiful. So this right here is the list of all the different, basically, owners of this convent, right? The people that were in charge of this convent. And we have all the way from the founding of it in 1606 all the way up to the modern day. One of my favorite parts about this place is all the different currency that they have. They have walls of currency from the islands of the Caribbean and all the different countries, right? They have some from the Americas, right? So Chile, Costa Rica, El Salvador, Guatemala. Actually, I have this one right here. When I went to Guatemala when I was younger, some from Peru, some from Uruguay, right? And they have from Asia. And you can see all the various currencies. They have them from Europe as well. And this is actually really cool. It's kind of like uniting for the whole world just to see each other's currencies, what we use to pay for common goods like food, right? Shelter, rent, cars, all those things that we need on a daily basis. And we're able to take a gander here of all the different currencies that we have in the world. So of course here in Cartagena, you can go to museums where they have indigenous artifacts, which is awesome, but they also have it here. So this is the wall of currency we just looked at, and now wait for this. So some of these potteries could be up to 1,000 years old, maybe 1,500 years old. And there's a sign right here somewhere, where is it? Right here, which says that they were all found in this department, basically this state where this city of Cartagena finds itself. And who knows what they were using these things for, the ancient inhabitants of this place, but kind of cool to see a piece of history. So the taxi driver was telling us that this is a very dangerous route, and if you try going down on foot or by like bicycle or something, you will be probably robbed. So probably not the best idea to do that, so don't try that. These are some of my final thoughts on Cartagena to end the video. So first, the negatives, because I want to end the video with the positives. So there are a lot of aggressive street vendors. You have to be careful of those. Tourists can be charged far more than the locals for the same services. The humidity is absolutely brutal. There are a lot of cases of tourists and even locals passing out due to the heat and the humidity. So make sure you stay hydrated, use sunscreen, do all that stuff. The biggest threat for you while you're there is definitely pickpocketers, so make sure you guard your stuff. Traffic can be tough. Cartagena has some of the worst drivers I've ever seen, to be completely honest, so just be aware of that. And now the best parts. So unfortunately, I didn't have the opportunity to go there in this video, but Cartagena has some amazing islands that are around it that are relaxing and have beautiful beaches, clear water. Definitely go and check it out if you want to go relax. For a seafood lover, it is a paradise. They have so much seafood, shrimp, squid, all types of fish you've never heard of. Definitely worth trying. It has some of the best fruit I've ever had in my life. So many examples of exotic fruit that you need to try. Getsemani's neighborhood is a huge win for tourists. It is super fun, so much to do, and so much art and music to hear. The history of Cartagena has been preserved so well, and many museums are free. Lastly, even though it is expensive for the native Colombians, for tourists, Cartagena is still a very good value for a vacation. And if you spend 5 days there, I guarantee you, you will not get bored a single time. So these are my final thoughts. Let me know what you think of Cartagena in the comments, and thank you for watching the video.